What's going on, everybody? It's me, the Haitian Sniper. I am here with my very first video on this channel, and I thought it would be no better way to start it off other than doing a trade breakdown. I caught a sweet setup on USDJPY this morning, and so I just kind of wanted to run through it and just kind of show you guys what I was looking at and how I perceived the market at that time. That gave way for this amazing setup where I actually was able to grow my account over 3% in like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. As traders, I think a lot of times we get stuck in like trying to find, you know, the the perfect setup, the perfect scenario, and we're waiting for something magical to happen. And in this setup, I just trusted my analysis and um, just understanding that I did my homework and that when it came time for me to execute, that's all I needed to do. And if I lost, I used my risk management. I think I had like about a 4 pip stop loss on this, so it would have been a minimal loss. And so what? On to the next one. But in this case, I actually won it. So I'm going to start over at the dollar index and just kind of show you guys what we were looking at. So dollar obviously has been getting crushed on a higher time frame. Um, this last month was ridiculous, right? And then we opened this month actually going bearish, and we actually broke some structure. If you look on the daily, we broke structure here. So this was our previous high. We broke structure, so now this is our I always confuse these, our lower high, right? And so we want to see price pull back into the range. It could have been as shallow as here, or it can even go back and take out this relative high as well. And then you see we trade into this price imbalance here, this gap, and looking at price yesterday, it looked like the market wanted to create a swing low, so I was anticipating a swing low. And if you don't know what a swing low is, it is where you create a low, a lower low, and a higher low, right? That's a swing low, and a swing high is opposite, right? Um, and so I also was looking at gold because the dollar and USDJPY, they actually most of the time uh, they have a positive correlation. So whatever direction the dollar goes, USDJPY will follow suit, because the US dollar is in the front and then JPY is in the back. So the dollar is it leads the pair. And then I also was looking at gold, um, which actually does the opposite of the dollar. They trade opposite, and gold also created a swing high. It was a higher high, lower high, and then we actually purged that this morning. They were just being assholes. It's whatever, it happens. And then I'm looking for gold to retest this, potentially retest this structure. It might leave it open. We could potentially do something like like this, come down into this imbalance. Oop, you can't see that, can you? Hold on. We might potentially do something like this and come down to this imbalance and go back up, and then um, it would change our origin from here to here, and then leave this open for a later time. I don't discount that, but I would like to see a deeper retracement into this uh, demand zone. Okay, so seeing that, I was looking at dollar to go up because gold looks like it might want to come down. So this is the setup on USDJPY. I caught it right in here. Like, it was a beautiful lights out setup, and I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys, just how I approached it and how I was able to eat off of this morning, and actually grew my account over 3% in a matter of like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So let me pull up USDJPY. Um, I'm just gonna do forex.com because my regular chart is on the other one? Okay, so looking at this on the monthly, I am bearish USDJPY just because I'm bearish dollar. We got a ways to go. I'm looking at these lows down here, got all this imbalance, and price needs to be rebalanced down this way. And if you go from high to low, right, or I mean from low to high, you know, we have to create a higher low. So anywhere between the 62% and the 79% is kind of where I'm looking at. And then we're kind of trading in this like channel like thing, which I don't really like. I don't trade channels. But looking at the weekly, we actually, so last week we were bearish, right? After we broke this candle here, right? So this is a very important area. Once I saw price trade through, because this was essentially a demand zone, right? And once I saw price trade through that, I realized that we actually had a shift in market structure, because if you see, price has been bullish, and then we actually took this high, and then when we took this high, we use it as a buy side liquidity, right? So we took buy side liquidity here. Let me mark that out. Buy side liquidity, right? You can't see it on this time frame, but I'll drop it down and you'll see it. So if we go to the daily, there's our buy side liquidity that we took, kind of creating like this head and shoulders. But I knew that if I drag my fib from my high to my low, I'll be looking for a retracement into these levels, right? We did get a 62%, but I don't think that was what the market is really. I think it wants to go up higher, because this week should have continued lower to seek this sell side liquidity had this retracement been sufficient enough, right? So I'm also looking at this candle right here. That's a demand zone. We didn't really trade up into it. It is a very big demand zone. So I mean a supply zone. So I just continue breaking it down to the daily, right? And so here's that supply zone, demand zone again. Sorry, I keep mixing them up. Let's get rid of the Fibonacci. And so looking at this, if we look on the daily, we actually traded into price imbalance, right? So from the wick of this candle down to that wick to this wick here, right, is a price imbalance, right? Once we did that and I saw rejection, I knew that we wanted to come up here and and get something. So again, we stopped right here, which I saw a level in here as well. But my eyes are up a little bit higher to at least maybe retest this level. We might even sneak up a little bit higher. But I was bullish once I saw the rejection here, and then it came back down and failed to continue lower, right? Because if price wanted to go lower from here, we would have seen it trade and continue lower here, right? Hold on. We would have seen it continue lower from here and take out this low, right? And take out that sell side liquidity. And this is, our sell side liquidity down here, right? So this is our sell side liquidity, right? So that's where we wanted to go. But we didn't do that. So looking at the 4 hour, I noticed that we came lower, right? And again, we had a smaller demand zone that we traded into. And again, I was like, oh, okay, so they really wanted to go up. And once I see this, and we trade off of the demand zone, where's the liquidity? Essentially, we traded into an area and grabbed liquidity below these lows, right? And then now, where's the next level of liquidity? We got up here, but ultimately I'm looking at this swing high up here. High, 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 lower high, right? and that's where I'm looking. Okay. And then again, like I said, I really like this level here, especially if the dollar decides to go bullish and ultimately trade up into, this level. I could see USDJPY coming all the way up into this area, um, to mitigate this move, because again, this was a fast move that needs to be filled before we continue lower. That's the other reason why I'm so bullish on it, short term, not long term, right? And if you look here, we got this like head and shoulders thing going on, which is going to ultimately just be liquidity for the market makers, right? So what made me take these longs this morning? So we have that there, and I saw we left these equal lows for later term. I love seeing them leave equal lows and shift. But let's look at so this was yesterday's low, right? And then this was our Asian session, right? So during Asian session, I actually was looking for a move on a lower time frame. I think it was like the 30-minute. I actually was looking for price to trade into this level here, right? I wanted to see it come into that level. We didn't get it. It was a level I was looking at, and based on the fact that I did not get it, I didn't take it, right? So I just was watching price, go up higher, and I was just being patient. And this is the Asian range. So I painted Asian range because I actually use it as like a sort of like a trend continuation during New York, right? So essentially you're gonna have the Asian range, and then within that Asian range you set the low of the day, um, or the high of the day, and then you return back into it, right? And so looking at this morning when I woke up, I noticed that we had a market structure shift, right? Because if you're looking at your market structure, let's look at it on a 15-minute. It looks something like this. We had a low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, high, right? Broke market structure here. Okay, so we broke market structure here, returned back in the range and created a higher low, right? And then once we got back up to here, right here, we actually broke market structure again, right? So that's two market structure breaks. And for me, I just dropped onto that line chart and made sure that we did break a new break structure, and we did. Let me actually delete some of this so you can actually see what I'm talking about, because you guys actually already know. Okay, so if you look here, you got to double click this, make sure I'm on the high, right? So you see it's on low, so I want the price source to be on the high. Okay, and then I look and see, did I break structure here? Yes, I did. So this is my market structure break. So all I did was I just dropped so this was market structure break number one, right? Market structure break number one was here, boom, right? And then market structure break number two was right here. Okay, and all I did was I let price do its thing, and before I went to bed last night, I set an alert right here. Just went right clicked, add alert once per bar, boom, alert is set. And this morning I actually was having my quiet time, spending some time with the Lord because He's so good. And my alert went off towards the end of my quiet time, and we traded into this level. And I actually also found a mitigation zone. I think it was on the 30-minute. Yeah, so if you look right here, from this from this wick down to this wick here, we have a mitigation zone, right? So price traded through it, came back, retested, mitigated, traded through it again. So the next time I look for price to come back into it, we're going to trade back into it. And as you can see, it traded into it perfect. And that was letting me know, like, yeah, I got a lot of confluence for this setup, right? So once price was in there, we'll go ahead and take that out. I dropped down, once my alarm went off, I dropped down to the 1 minute, right? Drop down to the 1 minute. And I'm actually going to just have to do a price replay because price went so far back. So I dropped down to the 1 minute, right? And I just was seeing what price's behavior was. So we're going to just play this nice and slow, right? So once we got in here, alert was still going off. I just kind of watched price and see what it was doing. All right, created a lower low, right? Still in my zone, right? And when I saw that price actually did this, we created this high, right? So let me actually take this from low to high now. You always got to remember to change it back. Okay, it's already on high. Perfect. Right? So when I saw price come in, because if you're looking at it, price was doing this. It was, let's just look at it. Took liquidity, low, high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Lower low is right here, right? And then, oh no, I'm sorry. Lower low was right here, okay? And then pulled back again, lower high, lower low, pulled back, broke this lower high, right? And then we pulled back, right? I was looking for price to fly. And I had this demand zone right here. From the top of this candle, we'll just go all the way down to the bottom, okay? So I entered off the 1 minute, and it was like right in here I entered, and I put my stop loss. I give myself 4 pips below the low, right? And then I just play price. So let me get rid of some of this. Well, I mean, I just watch price. I'm gonna play it back though. All right. Delete, delete, delete. Okay. All right. So once that occurred, oh no, I lost my thing. There we go. I just watch price. Okay. Boom. Still good. Good. Bam. We got our first shift out of here, and we created yet another market structure break. Right, so this was our first break here, right? Because that was our lower high, broke structure here, and then we broke structure here again, right? And then I was looking at it because I knew if this was a true shift, it would give up another position, right? And so if you go to the 5 minute, we actually, was it the 5 minute? Maybe it was the 1 minute still. Let me just see what price does. Okay. Hold on. 5 minute. Maybe it's 15 minute. Nope, it was a 5 minute. I got another entry in here, so I just have to see what price was doing for me to take that entry. Okay, so those, anyways, this was the market structure break, and then I took another entry in here. Oh, that's what it was. I see it. So let's go back right here. Right there is good. Okay, so I saw price come here, and this candle closed, right? And a lot of people might have wanted to buy this for whatever reason, but I understood that we had another price gap created here, right here, boom, right? So I wanted to see price at least trade into that. But we also had this market structure break that we have yet to retest, because the price has to retest the previous market structure break to continue up if we really want to go up, right? So this did not fool me. I just waited for the price to retest this market structure, and when it did, I took another entry, right? And then that stop loss was below here. So I think I entered like somewhere like right in here, right? And then the stop loss was right below the low here, 2.2 pips, easy, easy. This is how you get some stupid risk to, some stupid reward to risk uh, ratios. All right, so let's see what happens with price. Boom, traded into it, got in, and boom, and price was just doing its thing. And this whole time I was chilling, right? I already had a position in down here, and then my stop loss is below this low, right? And at this point, I actually had my stop loss set to break even because I knew we weren't going to come below this, right? If we were truly meant to be bullish. And then I also looked and saw that we had dollar news today. Was it? Yeah, 8:30 CPI, right? We had that this morning. So I knew there was going to be volatility in the market. So that's also the other reason why I set my stop loss to break even, because I understood that, I could be wrong. So, and then this entry was even more low risk than this one, because this was only like 2 or 3 pip stop loss, right? So, play price and news hit, and bam, we were out. And now for me, my take profit, actually, I don't really need to do anything super long term. So I actually had my take profit set right here. This was a previous level that they needed to come in and mitigate, right? I had my first positions that I took, take profit was right here at 109, 1092, right? So 1092. And then my second position was actually above these highs here, right? Um, and so we'll play price, all right? And then position one got hit, and position two take profit got hit as well, right? I actually was expecting price to maybe roll over and come a little bit deeper, but it didn't. It's cool because we still have this unbalanced range here, and I think that's the end of it. So let's exit the replay, and now we should be at current price, right? So now that price did this, now I'm looking to see us take out this swing high here, right? And then maybe get us a pullback and maybe re-mitigate off of this structure, which is this zone we just broke through, right? So what I'd be looking for now is for price to kind of do something like this. Oh my goodness. That's not it. Is for price to do something like this, take out that swing high, come back, and then give us another leg, right? And then we can actually take price up into this level that I'm looking at, and this is where I will more than likely be short your USDJPY rather. Let's see, this is a 4-hour. Yeah, I'm not gonna take limit order. That's a little steep for me. So I'll be watching the lower time frames. I'll set an alert up here. But yeah, based on this close today, what I'm looking for is accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So I want to see a close higher. I want to see price come down right out of the Asian range, accumulate, and then I'll be looking for a long position to trade into this position up in here, right? And then I can get out, and then I'll trade and ultimately take my profit down here, because this is we're trading from swing high to swing high. That's where all your liquidity lies, right? Liquidity up here, a swing high to swing low rather. So that's where your next level of liquidity lies, and then the next level is going to be down here. So that's basically it, guys. Don't be afraid to use the lower time frames. I used to be like deathly afraid of like using the 1 minute, but if you have your levels marked out and you see price rejection, and then you're just being patient and you're waiting, for price to give you evidence that it is shifting. uh I mean, these lower time frames are amazing. I actually could have gotten another entry in here as well, but I didn't want to be greedy, so I had two entries in already. But like, this is a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, so you just kind of treat it the same as any other area where there's no candles. Boom, boom. Okay, came traded right into it. Right, traded right into it, and then price rallied. Okay. Um, and so that's kind of that's basically it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you gained some insights. Um, all our moves need to be institutionally sponsored, and when they are, that's when you're going to see these moves, right? And also, this was also an optimal trade entry, is what we call this one. My mentor is ICT, the Inner Circle Trader, and this is one of his signature setups. Right at New York, between 8:30 and 11 o'clock. This move actually occurred a little bit earlier, around like 6 o'clock, right? I think I caught my move on the 7 o'clock candle. So it happened, a little bit earlier, but Forex isn't perfect. They're not going to give you the same setups every day, but the setup I look for is similar to this every day, between 8:30 and 11, and it's always super crispy, super crispy. So that's all I got for you guys. Just be on the lookout for my next video. Oh, and yes, of course, people are gonna want proof. Like, did I really grow my account? Did I really take this trade? Yes. So this is actually, I'm in the process of taking assessment for a fund, so I can actually trade their money for them. Um, so this was my first trade, so I actually grew the account. Um, oh no, I actually had one trade yesterday. I made a couple of dollars. I didn't like what was going on, but this is what I did for, essentially today was 3.21%, and then my second trade uh brought it up to 3.3%. Um, I am at 75% win rate. I don't like that because actually what happened was I lost a trade because I wanted to put my stop loss in after I executed the trade, but my fund doesn't allow that. You have to have a stop loss attached to your trade. So I should be sitting at 100% win rate, but it's whatever. I'm still above my targets, and as you can see, we went from 100,000 to 103,316. All I have to do is just hit my metrics, and then I will get my live account. But oh, and if you do want to get a funded account, I do have a link for you guys. All actually added um, so you guys can just click it, and then you can go and get yourself an account. You can do anywhere from 25K up to, and then you can scale it up to $1 million. So kind of cool. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Y'all be blessed, and y'all be safe out there.